Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be about all that went wrong with my discus during the 2 years I've had them so far. At the end of the video I'm going to explain exactly what caused all my problems and what I did to fix it. Not that there was a dramatic amount, but there was persistent and consistent problems all the way through, as you're seeing in the photographs here. So, back in November 2018, I bought the first fish for this aquarium that I had newly built. Everything went really well for the first kind of 3 months thereabouts. So come February, one of my fish started acting funny. And on one of my videos, an internet friend I suppose, who was giving me a really big help with figuring out discus. As you can see here, he wrote, "What's up with the red melon in the left corner?" And he's talking about this little fish. He had stopped eating and he'd moved away from the other fish. So this progressed for about 10 days. The fish had not eaten at all. I had asked a few questions around. The main thing I got back was internal parasites or something like that, but I really didn't feel that that's what the problem was. My quarantine process, my treatment before the fish were got and after I had gotten the fish, it was unlikely. So he got a really swollen abdomen and stopped eating, and he looked terribly unwell. You can see here in this photograph, he's excreting, pooping I suppose, a clear kind of a little bubble with some sort of mucus. The suggestion that I got to help the situation was to raise the temperature, that it increased the metabolism of the fish, and that really can help when you're a little bit stumped or there isn't any particular reason for your fish to have stopped eating. So I did that. I raised it from kind of 28-29 degrees, and I raised it up to in between 30 and 31 degrees. And very shortly after that, literally within 12 hours, the fish started to become more active. Over the next couple of days, it started to pass little mucus bubbles of water that it started excreting. And that continued on until it did this most enormous yellowy white poop that I have a photograph here that I'll put it up. It was almost the consistency of a lump of white silicone, and it eventually passed that. And the fish made a really good eating recovery after that. You can see him here beside this big pigeon blood. It completely stunted the fish basically. He never made a growth recovery after that. Although he competes for food with the other fish, he's as active as the other fish, he doesn't get bullied, he's well able to hold his own. So mentally the fish is absolutely fine, but physically it really did interrupt the growth of that fish. So my next problem, and God, I fought this for a solid year, from about April, May in 2019, I really fought with it started off with the ventral fins of pretty much all the fish at one time or another. A little small white bacterial ball, for want of a better word. I have photographs here that I'll put up today, a little small pieces of video footage that you'll be able to see it. Just tiny, shiny white little ball at the end of the ventral fins, and it slowly ate the way up the fins. Most of the fish it made absolutely no difference to, and they're after growing back perfectly. One of my leopard snakeskins ventral fins got eaten way up to where the actual fin is rather than just the long single strand. It got all the way up there, and it's after, unfortunately, it has grown back malformed. So instead of it stringing beautifully down, it goes in a little S shape. That was persistent for pretty much a year. It'd come, it'd go, it'd clear up, it'd go away, it'd come back, and I really couldn't figure it out. It also got pretty nasty a couple of times. You could see it most on the Blue Diamond discus. Started off, you'd see a little kind of a flash where it almost looked like a small scrape across the side of the fish. There was only the outflow pipe in it, there was nothing else in the tank, but it almost looked like it had just scraped itself off that. But it wasn't. It was more of that little bacteria eating away at it, picking away at it. A good clean of the sump and an extra water change, and it always cleared up. I also got tiny little bacterial nodules on the side of the fish, on the side of the fins, occasionally here and there. And as I say, I am getting to it, it's all caused by the same issue. I went on holidays when lockdown was eased a little bit here in Ireland. But one of the leopard snake skin of the three that I have that was really growing the best, when I got back, it was darker and skinnier than all the rest of the fish. That fish started, once again, I'll put up a very small section of video here. Unfortunately, it's a video taken of the fish. Literally an hour or two later, the poor fish was dead. I probably should have euthanized it, but I didn't. It had just faded away to nothing. It slowly stopped eating. It had eaten a bit and it stopped, but all the rest of the fish were doing absolutely fine. Water conditions were good, so sometimes those things happen. I wonder, did something happen when I was on holidays and it just never fully recovered after it? Since then, I did have a bloat in one of the fish. It stopped eating for a few days. It sat in the corner. Its tummy got quite distended, and it didn't look good for it for a couple of days. And it lost some of its patternation, and you could see the stripes were back in the fish. And once you see the stripes in the fish, you know you're on for a little bit of a problematic time ahead. Once again, all of this was created by the food. I overfed the fish. I had fed them pellets for the first 6 or 9 months I had them, but they just completely turned off them after a while and just point blank refused to eat them. They'd end up sitting rotting at the bottom of the tank, and I'd have to clean them out 2 or 3 times a day. It is just the Stendker beef heart that is being fed. According to their website, you need to feed, for the 15 fish that were in here, 14 now. With your 500 gram blister pack, 6 pieces of that. And my system just couldn't take it. My system just cannot take that level of food. 4 I find absolutely perfect. They do the finest. I'll do some close-ups on the fish at the moment. They are literally immaculate at the moment. They are, every one of them. One of them is more spectacular than the other, to be quite honest. They really are. They're looking magnificent at the moment. And all it is, every one of my problems, every single one of them, were caused by overfeeding. If you are going to keep discus and try and grow them out from little ones, it's the food they eat. They're cichlids, they're very messy eaters. My system could handle the messiness, just not the volume. I was always chasing the parameters, the ammonia, the nitrites, the phosphates, with the extra 2 cubes of food, with only the 4 cubes of food. To be honest, there's no problems. They're thick, they're fat discus, they're really healthy, they're active, they lay eggs, they eat each other's eggs. Everything you would hope that they do, and you can see they're big fish, some of them. They're in total length, they're well over 7 inches, some of them. See against my head? They're bloody big, so they are, some of them. But yeah, so every one of my problems, they were all caused by overfeeding the bloody fish. I should know better. So, moral of the story, and to summarise absolutely everything, is when you're growing out your discus, make sure that your system can handle the amount of food in, and with all fish, with all aquariums, less is always better than more. A little bit too little is very much better than a little bit too much every day. If they are having problems, if they're not growing as fast as you would hope, well, maybe once in 3 days add in an extra bit of food, once in the 2 days, but always monitor your parameters. Once you do that, you're really on for a winner. I'll finish up with some more close-ups of some of the fish, and you can see how they've done in the last year. And if you do find yourself in trouble with sick fish for whatever reason, be it for any of the reasons I had or some of your own unique reasons that the fish are sick, water changes. Water changes fixes almost everything that can go wrong with discus. Guys, thanks for watching, appreciate it. Hope it's not too long a one, but that is everything that went wrong with my discus in the little over 2 years now that I've had them. One fish lost, one fish stunted, and everything else pretty much satisfactory, and some of them more than satisfactory, just spectacular. I absolutely love them. Listen guys, signing off for today. Thanks loads for watching, bye bye.